the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
All right, what's up, y'all? It's Logan. It is currently 11:58 p.m. I wanted to start this recording a little early just so I could do my intro before we get into this review. That's right, we are here for the reaction review of Lecrae's long-awaited album, Restoration. I have been waiting for this one for so long. I cannot wait. This is my first ever reaction review to an album, so we'll see how this one goes. I posted earlier, I guess this is going up on Friday, so yesterday, Thursday, my discography ranking for Lecrae, so check that out if you haven't already, just so you can know what I think of his albums. I love all of them, though. Every single one has something that I personally enjoy, but we're getting ready to get into this one. Just a little background for how I'm going to be doing this. I will be reading along with the lyrics on Genius as best I can, so I'm pulling that up right now, actually. On top of that, I'll be playing it on my JBL speaker, which I have not even hooked up yet. Hopefully I don't wake my roommates up or bother them too bad, but they'll get over it. And I'll just be editing this just for the parts that I'm talking, because otherwise you'll just be sitting here watching me like just sit and listen for a lot of it, which you don't want to do that. I'm also not going to be reviewing the songs that I've already talked about. Well, like, I'm not going to be doing big reviews for the songs that I've already talked about or the singles or anything like that. So that being said, it is now midnight. Let me update Spotify and see if it's up yet, and just as soon as I do that, we will get started. Alright, so looking up Lecrae, and nothing as of yet. Okay, here it is. Let me download it, save it, get back into Genius Restoration Lecrae. Turn my speaker on and get connected. Of course, my phone wants to be a little bit slow right now, but that's okay. We're going to get it done anyways. Alright, we're about to get started, y'all. Are y'all ready? I am very ready for this. I cannot wait. Here we go. Get my lyrics pulled up. The first song is called Restore Me. I've already read a little bit about this one from what I've been told, or from what I've read on Genius. It is exactly 1:16, of course referring to Romans 1:16. It has Lecrae with an outro from Taylor Hill. And that being said, we are going to go ahead and get into it. Okay, so that's the first track. That is Restore Me. I really enjoyed what he was saying in there, just talking about how the past few years have been tough. He literally talks about how, like, 2017 broke him, 2018 he was rediscovering himself, rebuilding himself, and then he found restoration, and that's where this project comes from. I really like how he did that, how he talked about his he talked about being abused, molested, all of that, doubted, all of that. I like the flow he's going with on there. I think that's a great intro track. Really short, really easy to get through. I don't really have much else to say about that. I mean, that's what I would expect going into this one. I like how it's setting it up. Now, after that comes Set Me Free featuring YK Osiris. That's a song that I've already heard a million times. I love it. I love the trap influences, and I think following that track up, it works very well. So not too much to break down on that one. Like I said, it's a very hype track, but it also has a lot of depth to it. So I'm not going to break that one down anymore. Now after that comes Wheels Up featuring Mark E. Basie. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into this one. Ooh, okay. I like it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start talking while this one's winding down. So yeah, that was Wheels Up featuring Mark E. Basie. I really like the way that Mark comes through on the hook there. Just really smooth, melodic singing. He's an artist that I really didn't hear about until they released their Summer 2020 playlist. He had a song with Andy Mineo on there, and I really enjoyed his verse, and I think that his voice, and I think that really works well on this song, where Lecrae's going with a more smooth type flow. Not exactly his like sing-songy flow that he goes with on songs like Zombie, as will come up later on this album. Again, one of the singles, the latest single that came out. But just a really smooth flow where, again, you can tell he's talking a lot about, like, where he went through doubting. He specifically mentions not wanting to rap anymore. just wanting to give up, but God again, came in, restored him. And I love how the message of this album is coming through on every single song so far. I really enjoy that, and I like how there's a good switch off in the vibe of the song so far, like each song having its own vibe. The first song obviously being more like direct, in your face, like I guess aggressive, but not extremely aggressive, just like, this is where I'm at, I was in a bad place and now I'm coming out. And then Set Me Free was like a banger with the same message, and then this one was just like a really easy to sit back vibe song. So yeah, again, I really enjoy how this album is starting off so far. And after that comes Over the Top. This is just Lecrae by himself. So we'll see how this one goes. Okay, I like the trap influences that I'm hearing already. I've read that this one's produced by 30 Rock, of course. He helped produce songs like The Box, Roddy Ricch, stuff like that. Over the top. All right. Yeah, I mess with that. Just a little bit of trap influence on that one. Trap Lecrae is probably one of my least favorite Lecraes overall. I know I always talk about like Pop Lecrae and how that one can get on my nerves as well, just because it leads to I just enjoy him when he's just straight up rapping. But with Trap Lecrae, my problem is just that a lot of the times it overshadows the message. On this one, he does still come through with the strong message though, and I really enjoy that. So that's why I like. In comparison to a lot of the songs on Let the Trap Say Amen, they don't really come through with as much of a message. This one I felt like came through a little bit more. Again, Trap Lecrae isn't my favorite just because that's not where he sounds his best. I feel like he sounds his best either when he's going all in with the rapping, like on Gravity or Church Close 1, or where he's just bearing his soul, such as on Cry For You off of All Things Work Together, or off of songs like Good, Bad, and Ugly off of Anomaly. That being said, not every song can be like that. So I really enjoy how he's coming with 4 songs, 4 different sounds. Hype like Set Me Free, trap like this one, Over the Top, a little bit more introspective and stuff like that. So I'm expecting this next track. Let's see, this next track is called Self Discovery, and then you get the 2 other singles, Deep End and Drown, after that. So I'm expecting this next track will probably be a little bit more introspective, especially with a title like Self-Discovery. So overall, I think Over the Top is my least favorite of the first 4 so far, but it's not bad by any means. I still really enjoy that track. I think from here on out, though, we're going to get a whole lot more introspection and get into the meat. I feel like Over the Top was probably filling a quota to have. You got to have a little bit of hype to start the album. So I have no problems with that altogether. And that's usually how his albums go. And then they get into the meat once you get to like the 5th, 6th, 7th track. So I think this is where we're really going to start getting into it, especially knowing that Deep End and Drown are coming up. So that being said, this next track is Self-Discovery. And let's get into it.
Unforgettable, sweaty, demons Achilles, Katie. Now I'm up, it's a real life, and when it get real, I can feel Christ. Heal this branch on a family tree that was here for me, man. The root so deep, self-discovery.
I gotta pause it right there. This man really said demons Achilles, Katie. Oh man. All right, I just had to pause to say that. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, so as this song is winding down, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about it. Just let the beat ride in the background here. So, yeah, like I said, that got really, really introspective, setting up perfectly for the next track, Deep End, and following that, Drown. I love how he's talking about, he had some bars in there, I had to pause and talk about that KD line, talking about his Achilles, but he's talking about failures in his life, how he got really stressed out, how he was depressed, literally saying that he needed days off, he felt like his brain was in a fog. I relate to that 100%. I am so glad that he said something like that, because that's really how you feel. Just like you can't think straight, like, how you can't see straight when you're in a fog, you can't see but so far, you can't think but so far ahead, or else you just like shut down altogether. And so I love how he's saying that. On top of that, he's talking about what it's like to be black, which is something that I obviously cannot relate to. But just not knowing where you came from, not knowing what other cultures are mixed in there because of your roots in slavery, obviously, in America. So that causing an even deeper level of stress that I'm not able to relate to by any means. I really respect that. A really good track that really sets up for the emotional core of this album, I think. With that one being really emotional, and then Deep End and Drown again coming after that. Now, Deep End is a great track. It was one of the singles, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it really gets into the heart of him talking about it came out around the time that the protests were really ramping up, and he's talking a lot about social injustices and racism and how that applies to his life and how that applies to America and how that applies to religion, of course. He was very active during the times of the protests, and of course he's still active now, and he was active before that, and he's going to continue to be active on throughout the rest of his life because obviously that affects him. He's extremely educated on those things, and I really appreciate that. So the fact that he's making songs about that is beautiful. And I love how Deep End transitions perfectly into Drown. Again, another single. That one featuring John Legend, where it's like I'm about to go off the deep end, and then John Legend slides in so beautifully on his chorus, on his hook, where he's talking about basically crying out to God, tell me that you'll never let me down, because you're the what are the exact words? Because you're my final breath before I drown. Like, that is just so beautiful. And the way that John Legend sounds over that, he sounds beautiful when he's singing gospel stuff. Like, so that is a beautiful track. And that leads into Saturday Night, which, again, I obviously have not heard. So I guess we'll see how that one goes. All right, we're going to hop right into it right now. This one is featuring Jazzy. Don't know who that is, so I guess we'll find out.
Is this real?
It's a female singer. Found that out.
Here I am in the club again here. Cage like WrestleMania. Girls wanna rap but ain't one. Dudes want a macadamia. Never had love for none of the drugs, but I wonder, can the fame be one? I don't know none of these people, but orders.
Hold up. He said, girls want a rapper, anyone, dudes want a macadamia. I know this man ain't talking about how dudes just want a nut. Oh my God. I mean, I can't tell if that's corny or if that's a bar, but I love it either way. That's good. Okay. I see what they're doing here.
Wake up! Get your church clothes and let's go.
Yep. I see exactly what they're doing there. Okay, so that one was called Saturday Night. It alludes a lot to, like, he's talking about how girls want a rapper, girls want a guy who's famous, who's fly, all that. Guys want a macadamia, as I pointed out earlier, just looking for a girl for a nut, to be crass. I love the way he put that. That was really well placed. Also talk about, just doing drugs, just taking drinks just to numb the pain, all that. And then at the end of the song, the whole thing, it's like, is this real? It's like you're tripping out. It's like you don't know. It's like you're trying to numb all of life on Saturday night. That's the night where you go out, where you party, and it's like, oh yeah, we're here to have fun, but really a lot of people do that just to fill a void. Then he gets woken up. It's like his alarm's going off. His mom's calling him, hey, we got to go to church. Get on your church clothes, of course, referring to the church clothes mixtapes. And that leads perfectly into the next track, which is Sunday Morning, featuring Kirk Franklin. So, again, Saturday Night, really short song, but it's another, it builds onto the concept of this album, which so far I love the fact that this album has a great concept. Like most of his albums, while they have a message, don't have an overall concept outside of like Anomaly, I guess, being his most focused one, but this one is even more focused than that so far, and I love how each song transitions into the next one perfectly. So let's go ahead and get into the next one, Sunday Morning, Kirk Franklin. I've been looking forward to this one because them two working together, whew, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir. Let them know, Kirk.
Seasons change the color so quickly, it's hard to keep up with the leaves. Cause everybody leaves. On my birthday, Kobe, Gigi, and 7 souls remind me that the tree of life is so uncertain. And tomorrow has unpredictabilities as colorful as the smiles that took off that day. May that Sunday morning resonate past trophies and trinkets in the ongoing pursuit of more, to sober us with the humbling truth. My life and your life is just a vapor. And if what you see is all you see, then you do not see all there is to be seen. Quickly, we leave.
So, just give me a second to wipe the tears, because he did not have to mention Kobe and Gigi. I did not realize they died on his birthday. That's crazy. That was a great track. I mean, again, you know, bringing the sadness there at the end. Look at me flashing the 116. Y'all know how it is. But, I mean, the whole song, I mean, just being thankful that you woke up, you know, talking about that crazy night last night. But, you know, thank God for Grandma's prayers. I thought that was a great mention there. I enjoyed that song a lot. I love the bars that he starts off on verse 2. Wake me up in the new Diablo. Father stretch me like I'm Pablo. Sunday service on the front stoop. Of course, referencing Kanye with The Life of Pablo there, and of course also his Sunday service choir. I thought that was a good bar, but I mean, overall, yeah, again, you know, just the hook on that one, literally saying, but every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Like, just remember, you are not promised every single day. God does not promise you every single day. Every single second that you are given is a blessing, and you need to remember that and be thankful for that. So I really appreciate that sound. I mean, that message that he's given us there. Overall, if I had to say one thing about this one song that I guess should have a complaint to it, is that Kirk didn't really sing, man. I was really looking forward to him going in on some gospel. But, oh well. I'll take what I can get there. And I really love that outro. That outro was so heartfelt. I started tearing up, man. Oh, that was good. So, yeah, another great track. Following that is Zombie, which I have a review to that earlier. A reaction review to that song when it first dropped. I didn't care for it as much when it first dropped. I've listened to it a few more times since then, and it has grown on me a lot. I will say that, you know. The pop sound is a little off-putting at first, but the actual message behind what he's saying is a lot better as you go on. So that song grew on me. Still probably my least favorite of all the singles, just because the other 3 singles are so amazing. So whatever. Going on past that one. The next track we have is Keep Going. So let's keep going into it.
Come back, this my season, hit my goal. I can't quit, I come too far to let it go.
Okay, Carvello. Okay, so that was Keep Going. Again, another more trap-influenced song. At first, it wasn't my favorite. Again, just that not being my favorite type of Lecrae. But the more it went on, I started realizing, like, okay, this is actually a really good trap song. So it starts off with production by Quay Global. And you hear that in the producer tag at the beginning. But part of the way through the second verse, he says, come back, this is my season, hit my goals. And then you hear the Carvello tag. I love Carvello. Carvello's production over any 116 song is beautiful. Okay? And then you hear a beat switch, and I am just a sucker for a beat switch. So that really made that song for me. Again, does it lend itself at all to the overall focus of the album? Probably not, but it's just a fun track. It's just a fun track that picks up on, let's see, what was that? Self-Discovery, Deep End, Drown, Saturday Night, Sunday Morning, Zombie, 6 straight songs of and Keep Going. No, Keep Going was the one we just got through, sorry. 6 straight songs of just depth, emotion, stuff like that. So to get a break from that, I do not knock him at all for that. And I got the feeling that we have a little bit more emotion to get through, especially since one of the songs coming up has BJ the Chicago Kid. So either it's going to be emotionally uplifting or the other kind of emotional. So either way, the next track is still, we'll see how this one goes. Okay, so that was definitely a needed song on the album. Not from the sense, okay, let's say, does it contribute specifically to the idea of restoration? No, but there are layers to it. And in that song, it felt like he was restoring his relationship with his wife. I love a Lecrae love song, honestly, especially if it's in a time where I can relate to it. Gets me a little emotional sometimes, I'm not going to lie. You know, songs like All I Need Is You, Forever, I don't know. He just knows how to make a love song. Buttons always makes me tear up, man. All the gravity. And that one did it to me too. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm in a time in my life right now where stuff like that's important to me. I can feel it and relate to it in the relationship I'm in now. I really enjoyed the messaging that he's sending there. Like, it literally says, I'm still willing to love you. I'm still willing to trust you. Like, you have to, even if you've been married for that long, you have to always be willing to do those things. It's not like you say one time and it lasts forever. Like, you have to continue to do that. So I really appreciate how he says that, how he makes that known, and how he really expresses his feelings and his love towards his wife, of course. That was a good track. I mean, again, it's more the pop Lecrae, but it comes with a good message behind it, and I really enjoyed that. I think that fit in well and was much needed in this track list, especially being that we're coming up on the end. We only have 2 more songs. This next track is Only Human, Lecrae, featuring BJ the Chicago Kid. This is probably the song I was most excited for out of the songs that we hadn't heard yet. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get into this one. I love his voice. I love his voice. Yep, this is uplifting already. I know it. Yep. Alright, yeah, so that was Only Human with BJ. BJ killed it. Y'all saw my reaction. Yeah, I'm loving the way this album's ending as well, just bringing even more of the emotion out of me. I don't know, man. I am very impressed so far with this album. I just feel everything that this man went through and the fact that he's out on the other side. Again, that one being more on the restoration side, not on the beating him down side. But, I mean, he even mentions, like, I ain't want to live. My kids need me alive. God, and then it's like, God's working on him. God's restoring him. God's rebuilding him. God's renewing him. I love that. I love the message. I love the sound. I love the... Lecrae gets a little bit more lyrical on that song than he did on most of the other songs so far throughout this project. A little bit more interesting flow. Still going with that softer voice again because of the content that he is delivering over the soft beat. Very good track. Really enjoyed it. Love the messaging. And for that to be the second to last song, sets him up perfectly to end this album very well. With the last track, Nothing Left to Hide. Let's get into it. Okay, so that was Nothing Left to Hide. I'm going to talk about the song first and then talk about the whole album. So the song itself, again, kind of ends the album exactly how you would expect it to, considering where we were headed towards the end. Just a little soft... solid hook from a female singer, of course, and then some soft, good tone when it comes to his rapping. What he's talking about, being like, let's see. So he's talking about like his restoration. He's talking about how he has nothing left to hide. He's made it where he wants to make it, and people look at him weird because he believes in God. They're like, oh, you're just superstitious or whatever. But he's like, nah, I believe in the resurrection. I make my mistakes. I sin. But he even has a line in there where he says, like, there's only 2 responses to sin: forgiveness and repentance. I love that. Again, really good way to end the album. Now, if we're going to break down the album as a whole, I really enjoyed it. I love how I think this is his most focused project out of his albums. The only thing that really compares to it is Anomaly. I guess I just really prefer this message to Anomalies overall. Not saying that it's a better album than Anomaly. I think I'm going to have to marinate on it a little bit more to say that. I'm definitely not willing to say it's his best project overall. It's definitely not better than Church Clothes 1. I just feel like that's almost an untouchable standard at this point for his music. But is this in his top 5? Yeah, potentially. If I'm talking about where I would rank this in his discography as I'm pulling that note up, I could see it falling. I would put it above All Things Work Together, which I currently have at 5th. So the lowest this would be is 5th. I could see this being anywhere from just below Gravity, which would be 5th, to just above Anomaly, which would put it at second. I'm going to have to marinate that on that a little bit. But yeah, this definitely cracks the top 5. It could be in any order. Church Clothes 1 be a number 1, but then it could be after that and then ahead of Anomaly and Gravity, or after Anomaly ahead of Gravity, or after Gravity at 5th ahead of All Things Work Together. Whatever order. Like I said, I'm going to have to sit on it and think about it a little bit more on that one. But I love the focus on this one. The reason why I'm saying it's not like number 1 or not a 10 out of 10 or anything like that, it's just because I feel like it was missing a little bit of that, like, out there Lecrae, like that, he's just rapping harder. He feels like it misses the importance element of it, like he came with on Gravity or Church Clothes. He doesn't have a song on there where you really feel like, this is a personal album for him. This is a personal adventure, and one that I can relate to, but I feel like it's not one that's reaching out and sending other messages as well, which there's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's just the fact that I feel like, again, Church Clothes does that a little bit better, where it sends multiple messages and where it reaches out to multiple groups and encapsulates more and is overall, I guess, a little bit more engaging. This doesn't have a song like Sacrifice. It doesn't have a song like No Regrets. Rejects. Songs like that ended off Church Clothes 1. That being said, I still really, really enjoy it. I think this will end up in my top 20 albums of the year. I'm currently looking at my little, this is how I have my list. Yes, okay, you can't really see it because my phone's too bright, but I have it in my notes. So, where would I put this? Let's see, I would probably, okay, so I think I'm going to have to go with an 8.5 out of 10 on this one, just off of my first listen. The lowest I could see it going is an 8 out of 10, but I really feel an 8.5 is fair. I'm just looking at what I have on there. Like, my lowest 8.5 is Alfredo, and really, everyone talks about Alfredo like the album of the year, but I really don't come back to that one that much. Then after that, I also have, like, All My Heroes Are Dead by R.A., West Side's Pray for Paris, and I just feel like that's pretty close to those. My highest 8 out of 10 is Denzel Curry's Unlocked, and I just feel like it fits well into that category. My second highest 8 out of 10 being the Allegory by Royce, and this is definitely better than that. Not knocking the Allegory, just say like that was too long, and this is a lot more focused. 14 songs, about 41 minutes. This is a lot more focused than an album like that. So I feel like that's a fair ranking point on the lower end of my 8.5 out of 10s. Again, not Lecrae's best album, but dang if it ain't really good. One of his best, easily. I look forward to going back to this one and listening to it even more. Maybe I'll listen to it while I'm editing this, or maybe I'll get my first listen into Nas's album, because I do want to get a couple listens through that one before I really do a review on that. Like I said, I really like the sound on this one. I like the fact that some of the best songs that he released were actually the singles. Most artists don't usually pull that off, so I'm really impressed that he did that, but he still had a couple of great songs on here. I mean, the songs that really stick out for me, the intro track, Restore Me, Self-Discovery really made me tear up, Sunday Morning with Kirk Franklin, of course, Only Human with BJ, my favorite track is Drown, though. I gotta say, that was the song going into this that I was the most excited for, and then of course it ended up being a single, so I had to change that to Tonight, my most excited one being BJ the Chicago Kids feature on Only Human. I was very happy with that one as well, but man, nothing tops Drown. Drown was a beautiful song. That's just my thoughts on this one. I'm definitely going to go back to this one a lot. Like I said, one of my favorite albums of the year by one of my favorite artists of all time. The artist that really got me to deep dive into hip-hop. Like, I'm not going to say he's the first artist I ever listened to, but he's the one that got me into rap, you know? Like, Eminem and Tech Nine were like my gateways as the prototypical white boy. But Lecrae's the one that caused me to dive into hip-hop. So, yeah, really enjoyed this album. Definitely go check it out. Wish me luck if I ever decide to do another one of these reaction reviews again. that's going to depend on how this editing goes, and you are watching the finished product. So if it was not good, do not expect another one. But if it was good, make sure to let me know. Let me know what I could improve on going forward. I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to try this. So yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub. Hit the bell next to my name for notifications. And wish me a good night's sleep, because it's 1 in the morning and I'm about to start editing. So appreciate y'all, and I'll hit y'all up next time.